have a little fun with the audience. The last time they were here, they said that they thought I did a good Gladys Knight. Well, I got news. I can do a good Temptation. Will you help me out, Jeff? I can turn the grayest sky blue. I can make it rain whenever I wanted to. I can build a castle from a single grain of sand. I can make a ship sail on dry land. But my life isn't complete and I'm so blue, 'cause I can't get next to you, no matter what I do. Hey, 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 hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to sit down with someone you know. It's time for the Valley Gold Show.
It's time to sit down with someone you know. It's time for Debor'ah, bringing you the stars, the stories, and the performances. So stay tuned for a great show with Debor'ah.
Now that we are obviously sitting down with someone we know, I'll make the introductions. We have Mr. Cornelius Grant, who is a Motown legend. He's written a number of hits for the Temptations and other vocalists as well, and he lives out in Hollywood, California?
Yeah, West Hollywood.
Oh, West Hollywood, okay. So what is the distinction between Hollywood and West Hollywood?
Well, they're laughing because they know that, for example, in the Hollywood area, West Hollywood is primarily a gay area.
Oh, you got a problem, Cornelius?
Not that I know of.
Leave that alone. But anyway, Cornelius Grant was also the conductor for the Temptations for 20 years, musical conductor. And when were those years back in?
Well, I started when I was around 12.
Okay. And he's only 22 now.
Yeah, right.
We have Harry Berry.
That's correct.
And he's got a little bit of bass going on, huh?
I'm not the bass singer, though. I'm the tenor.
And we have Kareem Ali.
Hello, how's everyone?
Hello,
You all
how's
remember
everyone?
Kareem? And Winfred. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
Well, see, you know what? We decided we were, this was their second time here on the Valley Gold Show, and we're just going to be home and have fun.
That's right.
So, okay.
I don't feel at home.
Okay, Silk. Fred Silk Black.
Thank you.
Okay. Silk for short. That's okay, we can talk for it. And we have my baby.
Oh my God.
Darnell. He is the baby. And Darnell, by the way, Darnell Carter.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much.
And Darnell, I like your haircut.
Thank you. Yeah, because the last time I was here,
You had some of mine going on right there.
Yeah, long
Okay.
and curlier.
And did somebody in the group give you your haircut?
Yeah, I haven't finished with his hair yet. I'm in mid, but I'll fix him up. I would not trust him to come near my hair with a pair of scissors. No scissors. All I need is a brick.
It's a lot of love up here. But anyway, welcome to the Valley Gold Show. I'm so glad you guys came back, and I'm glad to meet Harry Berry. And
Thank you.
you want to talk about your name, Harry Berry?
It's funny when I first started, because I was with Otis's contingency of the Temptations from '95 till about 2003. And when I came in the group, my real name is Harry McGillberry. And Otis said, well, I don't know, Harry, that's not going to work. There's too many syllables in McGillberry. And I'm like a guy, they would tease me in elementary school. They would say McGillberry and McGillicuddy, McDoolberry. And I got offended when he wanted to change my name. And I said, I shared it with the rest of my family, and I realized that when they're announcing you, you need less syllables.
Something easy.
Right. And then I said, well, Harry Berry, that's close to Halle Berry. I said, well, not close to
All of a sudden, it didn't sound so bad, huh?
It didn't sound so bad. And I've gotten accustomed to liking it.
Truth is, Otis just couldn't pronounce the name.
Now, you know this is on tape.
You'll hear about that.
Somebody give me Otis's address so when we get... Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get more into the lives of the Temptations experience. Right back after this. You're watching The Debor'ah Show, so stay tuned. Okay, we'll start with you, Cornelius. You've been with the Motown legendary groups for the longest. Not that you're the oldest. You just, okay.
Make no mistake, I'm definitely not the oldest.
But you've been with them the longest. So let's talk about how you actually broke into the business.
Well, I started with Motown. Actually, I started with the Mary Wells.
Okay.
And I worked with Mary Wells. From Mary Wells, I went to Marvin Gaye. I was Marvin Gaye's first, and for a long time, the only guitar player.
Yeah, that was an interesting story, how he asked you to play for him. You want to share that?
Well, I started to play with Marvin, and that's how I got my conducting experience, because Marvin, at a point, he said, he called me in his dressing room one day, and he says, Cornelius, call me Corn, I need a conductor and a guitarist. I can't pay both. So I was waiting for the punchline, you know. He said, so you're it. And to which I was like, but Marvin, he said, you want the job? So it was enough said. So I had to learn.
Could you read music?
At that time, I could spell a little bit. And so I had to do a real crash course in conducting and that kind of thing. So that's how I got my conducting experience, and that was sort of like a natural transition when I got with the Temptations group.
Okay, so how long after you started with Marvin did the Temptations engraft you, and how did that come about?
Well, I had met the group while I was with Mary Wells, because I have filmed to show you guys that the Temps was singing backup for Mary Wells at the beginning.
Oh, wow.
And so while they were singing backup, we did a show in New York, and the group was flown in to actually sort of do an opening spot for Mary, and they didn't have a guitar player. So I played behind them, and when I finished the show, Paul called me in the dressing room.
This was Paul Williams?
Paul Williams. And he said, well, I have to tell you something. No matter where you are and what you're doing, when we get a hit record, you're coming with us. And we just sort of, laughed it off, right? So I went from Mary to Marvin Gaye, and then I was with Marvin Gaye for a while, and then the Temps got a hit record. And
there you were.
There I was.
They were truly their way.
Well.
So, Harry Berry, how'd you break into the industry?
Oh.
Just by doing that, I'm sure.
I guess my career started in high school. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I was involved with another vocal group called The Futures, and I had my first record, recorded my first record when I was about 18 in high school, and then signed a deal in 1971 with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. And they enabled me to, it was a 5-man group similar to the Temptations, and we used to emulate all of their songs. And I kind of lean towards, I'm going to go there. I was heavily into gospel quartet music, and I learned how to sing this. I learned how to use my voice like this from emulating Melvin. And then when I met Melvin, he was at the Apollo Theater and invited me to his room, and here we're listening to the Harmonizing Four, the Swan Silvertones, and the Dixie Hummingbirds. And I was in awe of this guy, man. I mean, just to hear him talk, I mean, the whole room, it's like a resounding sound. And I was young, I mean, I wanted to do that. And first, being kind of a shy guy, singing could get you the girls. You know, and I was like, oh man, I think I want to do that.
Did you take your glasses off for that?
Yes, I did. I could see it a little better. And it was funny. In high school, they would have these talent shows, you know, and that's when guys would go in the boys' bathroom and sing harmony, right?
With the echoes on the wall.
Where you get that good acoustical sound. And that's what I would come in there with this bass voice. And I was like, I kept rehearsing it hours at a time, just singing over and over the Temptations and all these gospel groups. And it went from there, from the 70s. Then as the music trend changed to gospel, the vocal group thing kind of started weaning to the wayside. And this is when the disco thing was going on, and a lot of the bands even emerged, like Earth, Wind and Fire, and the Ohio Players, and Confunction, and all these guys. So it made a transition where when the music trend changed, what was popular kind of fell back, what's trendy kind of fell to the wayside, and I totally got away from the record industry. And here comes like 95, I totally had left it and said, well, maybe, because being in a vocal group, you have to record. I mean, it's like being in this business, it's the recording business. And to make money, you have to have a hit record. And to get a hit record, sometimes record companies play games with you as an artist.
I mean, like what?
Like Kenny and Leon had 25 groups in their stable when I was with them. They had Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Teddy Pendergrass, the OJs, Blue Magic, Delphonics, Intruders. I mean, I could go on and on and on, and they've got 25 acts, but everybody can't win at the same time.
Okay.
You know, at that time, the OJs, Teddy Pendergrass, and Harold Melvin, they all had top priority.
Okay.
So they would
use about how they prioritized the groups.
Exactly, and they would use us to do background for some of these other artists. We did record, but at that time, Philly International was affiliated, I think, with Columbia Records.
CBS Records.
CBS, and it was just too many acts for everybody to win. So I kind of hung in there with it. Then I got that blessing when Otis called me after Melvin. In fact, I kind of knew that I was grooming myself for that position.
One day.
In one day, and it did happen.
Wow.
And when they was interested, I was like, oh man, I must have prayed every day for about 6 months. They called me in June. I must have prayed every day to January.
And the rest is history.
I was able to really garner some achievements with my tenure with Otis.
That's right. You won some Grammys?
I have Grammys,
Okay, well, give it to
Soul
us.
Train Music Awards, Platinum albums, Gold records, stuff that I really, thank
What you're saying is prayer really works.
Oh, prayer changes things.
You're watching The Debor'ah Show, so stay tuned. The Debor'ah. Now, Kareem is the most fantastic, smooth dancer you ever wanted to see. I mean, the man has the moves, he does choreography, and, you know, how did you get spied out to become the choreographer?
I too. Well, it really started in high school, and I was a part of a group, a four-man group, as a matter of fact, a quartet, and one of the guys said, "Look, we would like to be as great as the Temptations, so we're going to be part of the Temptations. So we have to try to, I guess the highest form of flattery is imitation. So what we wanted to do is not only sound as close as we possibly could, but we needed to dance as close as we possibly could."
Who said that, Kareem?
And so during the time, you're too young to know anything about this show. But this show it was a great show called The Ed Sullivan Show. And I know you saw probably reruns. I remember the actual stuff. And I would watch with my dad the original camcord, and it was huge. But the idea is he would tape anytime the temps were on, and I would watch the choreography. In turn, I would show the group the routine. And I guess it really stuck from that point on. And that's how I got into the choreography. That's when they had the 8-track, and I still have my 8-track.
You are not giving up your 8-track. Okay, Silk. A lot of people don't know. See, he doesn't just sing and dance. He acts. He's a martial artist. You hear that, Wayne? Martial arts. And let's see, what else? Watch CSI. Sometimes you might catch him on CSI. What all is there to Silk?
Well, CSI is not, that's just, I think that might have been a one-shot deal. I might have been on there a couple of times. But I'm from Los Angeles. Hollywood.
Would it by any chance be West
No,
Hollywood?
I'm not from West Hollywood. That's right.
West
Hollywood.
I think you just made a mark.
But so being there's a lot of different opportunities, and I take advantage of them. So, you know, I work in the television theater sometimes, you know, and well, you mentioned me being an artist, but I've, you know, ever since I can remember, when I got a pencil or a pen in my hand, and paintbrush, whatever I did. So I used to sell my art before I got heavily into this, but I was always into this also.
Now, were you like what they call a starving artist?
I'm a starving artist. Well, you know, as a matter of fact, though, I sold my artwork from, what are you laughing at? From high school. As a matter of fact, what I did, I started my own little business when I was 13, and I would do signs for people, like Christmas, Halloween, and stuff like that. I'd go down the street, and people would let me paint their windows, you know, businesses. I should say businesses, not just people, for whatever occasion. And that's how, you know, I first started making a living. Like I said, I was about 13, 14 years old. And, but I had the talent to do so, and just got the idea that, hey, I want to make some money, so I'll do that, you know. And then, but when I got about, you know, I always wanted to sing also, so when I got about 15, that's when I started working in the clubs. And various groups, various training, I should say. You know, when you're out there, you don't have to have formal training. You just get out there and do it, and you get trained. So, as Harry said, and as I think all of us in all of our cases, we were, you know, we were awestruck by the Temptations. So we all kind of groomed ourselves for the Temptations. Everybody was, we did the talent shows and whatever, and you have 15 groups, and they were all doing Temptation songs. We all do the same song.
Same song.
Same song.
Boring.
Getting ready, you can't get next to you, old man. Everybody was doing the same. It's like, who can do it the best? Who had the best bass singer? Who had the best lead singer?
Who can do it the best?
Oh, excuse me. Right, it's time to sit down. And so, you know, with that, I think I mentioned before, well, we were here before, that I had joined the group called the Drifters. I know you've heard them. Say the neon lights are bright. And I went from there to here. And on the Valley Gold Show.
All right.
And now it's time for the big.
He's older than me.
Well, like everyone else up here, I started at an early age doing talent shows. In fact, Kareem and I are from the same hometown of Baltimore, and that's how we met doing a talent show. We were like 12, 13 years old. That's how far back we go. And like everyone else, I sang on the choir and sang around town. At the age of 18, I was fortunate enough to sign my first recording contract with Chess Janis Records, which at the time had the Dells and the Whispers on it. So I got to cut my teeth under some very talented gentlemen. And from there, I went to All Platinum Records. From there, I had the opportunity, like Harry, to go with Philly International. And just from perseverance alone, like God opened up a door that allowed me to walk in and work with my big brothers here, and I'm very proud of that.
I did that to It's time to sit down with someone you know. I'm Debor'ah Benton, and I'd like you to invite me into your home. If you let me in, I promise I won't come alone. I'll bring along lots of our friends. We won't raid your fridge, and we won't hog your remote, but we do like to chat. And we've been known to play our music a little too loud. Who are our friends? Singers.
There's a spark of magic in your eyes.
Dancers. Stage and screen stars. And there's you tuning in each week on this station for The Debor'ah Show. That's me. Tell your neighbor, let Debor'ah in. We'll have a blast.
Previously on Debor'ah.
I can build a castle from a single grain of sand. I can make a ship sail on dry land. But my life isn't complete and I'm so blue, 'cause I can't get next to you, no matter what I do. Hey, 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 hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to sit down with someone you know. It's time for the Valley Gold Show.
It's time to sit down with someone you know. It's time for Debor'ah, bringing you the stars, the stories, and the performances. So stay tuned for a great show with music conductor for the late great Marvin Gaye, as well as for the original Temptations, the maestro Cornelius Grant, and he's joined by the tall, tan, talented Temptations Experience. Relive those great moments when the Valley Gold Show featured The Whispers. They performed from their newest CD.
Together we can lose.
They inspired
We all started having Bible study.
Oh, wow.
And I began reading the Bible, And as I begin to read it, I begin to see all of the wisdom that I needed to know in there.
Everybody's trying to be like everybody else. We already got one R. Kelly. We don't need two R. Kellys. We want a new somebody. They can say, wow, that's him.
Chocolate girl.
And they brought back the gold.
What I tell you?
This special 2-hour presentation of the Valley Gold Show with Deborah Benton featuring The Whispers. In stock now. Available on DVD and on VHS. Log on to valleygoldshow.com and order your copy today.
Now, all of you have been with major record labels for a number of years, so it wasn't just when you broke into being part of the Temptations and or the Temptations experience. You did some work with the Isley Brothers, did you, Kareem?
As a matter of fact, my junior year, instead of going to my junior prom, the group that I was with, the quartet, we called ourselves the Vandals. We signed with the Isley Brothers on their label, on their T-Neck label, and that was my prom. And I thought that was pretty good. And later on,
so wait a minute. Before you signed, had you asked somebody to go to prom?
No.
Oh, okay. Fortuitous thinking, huh?
I was focused.
Oh, he was. Did you all hear that? He was focused. You hear that, Cornelius? He was.
I heard that.
I did
focused.
not have blurred vision.
Wait a minute, Harry.
He didn't have a date
Harry.
with what he was really trying to say. That's what it was.
So wait a minute. Harry was inspired to sing because of the girls, but you were looking beyond the girls.
Yeah, it was about business.
Yeah.
I set my face like flint. You know?
What is so funny, Jordan?
Now,
Like I said,
you guys, if his nose starts to grow.
like I said, it's just because he didn't have a date that it just so happened that they got to go and record with the Isley Brothers.
Oh, that was cruel. That was cruel.
Partially true. Then later we signed with Atlantic Records, and that was good. But I have to say, our little tenure with the Isley Brothers was, they were about business, and we learned the business about the business with the Isley Brothers, and those were great years, my formative years, and I wouldn't trade those for anything in the world. Those were great times.
So what are some of the common things that you all learned about the business that the average person trying to break into the music industry just doesn't know?
Real basic, business 101. It's a business. Never forget it. There's a thing of wine, women, and song. That's not business. We're talking about not the idea of just making money. We're talking about making a living, a career, taking care of not only self but family.
Yeah.
And also, and then extended also in, when much is given, much is required. So with this, it's not only just a right, or let's say a privilege. It's not just a right, it is a privilege, because when you do this to us, then we want to do this back to you. And I mean that. And how we do this back to you, believe it or not, is when we open up our mouths and hit Sybaritic tones that have been developed.
I think the ladies like that career.
Can you break that down for us,
Sybaritic, which means the luxurious sounds. And
look that up. Yes.
Yeah.
Please,
May I add something else, please? In talking to young people nowadays, the first thing that they ask is, well, I can become rich, I can become famous. And the bottom line is, to travel down this road, you have to first love what you are doing. It's not about the success, it's not about the materialistic things that you might be fortunate enough to acquire, because it's such a hard road. The music business as well as most arts, it's 90% rejection. You will hear no more than you will hear yes, right? But you have to keep believing in yourself, and I don't care who it might be. It might be a Kenny Gamble, it might be a Barry Gordy, whomever it might be. Even if they tell you no, you have to keep believing inside, I can do this. I believe in myself.
That's why it becomes so important to always get yeses from the ladies.
Oh yeah, well, but I said show business.
But an analogy would be, you have a loved one who may break your heart, but if you love her or him, you will go back. So you stick to it.
Yeah.
You stick to it. And that's what we do. We stuck to it because you can't get your heart broken in show business. Yeah.
You're about to say something, Karen.
One of the enjoyments, more so than money, and I don't mean that to be trite or cliche, so I really mean this with all sincerity, is that you get a chance to work with such great icons. And I mean this with all humility, respect, and love. I went to a spot in Baltimore, and as a matter of fact, it was a Painters Mill Music Fair, and I saw this gentleman standing with his kind of his back at a 45-degree angle, playing his guitar, conducting a huge orchestra. And my God, I mean, the orchestration at the fanfare was awesome. So it's a joy to finally not only watch this gentleman work, but now to meet him, and then he's now teaching you some stuff that, you know. So it's great to meet icons like the maestro himself, Mr. Cornelius Grant.
And you know I'm still working on getting him to play that guitar for me.
Oh, let me tell you, yes. And also, I want to say, in all sincerity, you're talking about someone with such an uplifting spirit that is congruent with her own feelings and thoughts. And I'm talking about an awesome, dynamic lady. You know her better than we do, but we love her, I think, just as much as you. We're talking about Debor'ah right here.
And you know I'm a little too dark to blush, right? But thank you. You know, and Kareem is so sincere. I mean, we've been talking and dialoguing ever since they were here the first time. And you know, speaking of meeting legendary people and people that you've looked up to, okay, you guys have met so many of the greatest of the greats. And yet I noticed just in some of our conversations that you still look at them as if they're, you know, somebody way up there, even though that's where you all are now. You had an experience where I think you wanted to kick yourself about Aretha Franklin.
Oh, my God. We were at Temple University, and we opened up for Aretha Franklin. And so it's part of your day, long day, as a matter of fact. It's called a sound check. So we went to Temple. We're at the stage, and I'm standing there, and I'm just standing beside this lady who I thought
she was casual.
She was extremely casual. Let me put it mildly. She was extremely casual, and
she was really dressed down.
Yeah, she was dressed down this particular afternoon, and her stage manager was talking about, okay, well, we're getting everything in ready for Miss Franklin, this and that for Miss Franklin. And I'm standing, waiting, and I'm looking around. I couldn't wait to see her. And the stage manager walks over and says, Aretha, are you ready? And I looked. I was standing right outside for about 30 minutes by myself. Do you know I could have had her for 30 minutes just to chat, get a picture, autograph, or something? At least a hug. At least a hug. That's the truth.
So what is it like when you all meet some of the people that you've looked up to and now you're their peers? I mean, do you recognize yourself as their peers, or do you still kind of feel like you need to take a back seat, Cornelius?
Well, I think I know before I got on the road, of course, I had all these idols, both musicians and singers, and it wasn't too long after, graduating from high school, and I was out on the road. And I met all these people that I idolized. And to this day, I still, look up to these people. It's something like, it's just like you have a kid, and that kid is always your kid. You know, even when they're grown and have kids of their own.
We can relate.
You know, so you never really get to that level, so to speak. You know, it's like people like B.B. King. You know, I used to go stand in front of the stage and watch him play and try to copy his licks and all that kind of stuff. And then I met him, and he was opening our show.
Wow.
You know, so but he's still B.B. King to me. You see, so
he's a great guy too.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Okay, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from the Temptations Experience and Cornelius Grant.
The Deborah Show is brought to you in part by L.E. Black Phillips and Holden Funeral Home, located at 1951 McGuffey Road in Youngstown, Ohio. L.E. Black Phillips and Holden Funeral Home, honoring the legacy of life.
Now, you all have been in show business for a number of years, and I'm sure you've had to make a lot of sacrifices to maintain your careers. Can you talk to us about what the juggling act is like, what kind of sacrifices, and how it actually affects your personal life, you know, as far as you want to go?
Sure.
Darnell.
I can start. Something pretty recently happened. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she did her first recital a couple of weeks ago. But unfortunately, because of a commitment that we had, I couldn't be there. And things like that you can never get back. Her first recital and all of that. In fact, she tells me quite often that I love my uncles to death, but I really wish that you'd quit and just come and be with me.
Oh, wow.
Right, but yeah, but there are times when you do have to, unfortunately, sacrifice and choose your career over your family. But as long as you let them know that what you are doing is for them as well as yourself, then, you find a happy medium.
Okay.
You really do. Silk has a lot of stories.
Well, I have 4 young children, and they have come to appreciate and understand that I can't be around all the time. My oldest will be 16 in December, and they couldn't understand. Of course, little kids don't understand where's Daddy, but we have such a close relationship that they know once they start seeing me on TV and different things like that, that's my daddy, They kind of understood that in order to do that, and in order to do what they want, get them what they want, taking places, stuff like that, when I can, I have to be away because this is the nature of my, my job. So though I kind of wish they were here right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I wish I could take them with me wherever I go. But of course, small children have to go to school, have to be educated, and things like that. And sometimes the best thing you can do for a man to do is to keep his eye on the prize. You want to take care of your children, so you do that the best way you can. And that's what I'm doing.
Holiday time gets a little rough for me. As a matter of fact, last Thanksgiving we were in L.A. As a matter of fact, we were flying. Thanksgiving was our travel day, to be quite honest with you. So none of us had a chance to sit down and have Thanksgiving turkey with our family. For things like that, it makes it a little difficult. But in and of ourselves, we have become a family. So we share Thanksgiving dinner, together, those kind of things, or we exchange gifts. But I just want to say this. Along the way, not only meeting great people, as I said earlier in the show, you meet another person that just impacts your spirit. And we adopted this brother. Maybe he adopted us, but we definitely adopted him. And I'm talking about Wayne. I don't know Wayne's last name.
Wayne Holloway.
Wayne Holloway.
Mr. Holloway.
Okay.
Mr. McFlurry.
Mr. McGillberry. Harry Berry.
What was the question again?
The question was, how do you balance your act?
Okay. On a more serious note, I have been blessed with 5 kids and 13 grandkids. Now you look at this brother, you say, well, how old is he? Well, I'm old.
How much plastic?
And when I was with
Nip tuck.
I'm 50. My oldest is 33. My youngest is
I thought you were only 33 years.
really.
Well,
I've got some good genes, but when I was with the oldest contingency of the Temptations, we would be on the road for 40 weeks out of the year.
oh my goodness.
And man, it was like you kind of lose that family aura of being with family, and you have to make the guys on your road family, living on tour buses, sitting in airports, sitting in dressing rooms.
And here we think it's just all glitter.
Because behind the scenes, it's more than just that 60, 90-minute show. It's the preparation of traveling. Just like coming here yesterday, I also live in L.A. My day started at 2 Pacific in the morning. 2 a.m. We didn't get here to 10 Eastern. And what I wanted to reiterate on, it's nothing more a better blessing than to do what you really like doing. How many people are stuck in jobs that they don't like? And I for one, was one of them. I would probably say mostly like 80
He's
or 90.
He's talking about his day job.
90% of folk are caught up in a job. I mean, we could be brothers digging up in the earth every morning, operating a bus, or, doing something that you really don't like. And there's nothing better than to get on that stage and make people happy. Make people smile. It's nothing no better. I get more gratitude. And even when I was younger, when I was singing, there was times in the 70s where we would perform to make sure the band got paid.
And never got
Always want to make sure your musicians get paid.
That's right.
And we as to keep the musicians, we would go home broke. And that's why I'm on my second marriage now and all these kids, but it was more, it's more gratifying to get out there and make people smile. The women definitely. But you'd be surprised when we're out there performing. Guys are bringing the women to the show and they say, man, got to go check them Temptations out. And again, I just have to say it again, man. It's just real gratifying to do what we do. Real. Thank you.
And before you answer that question, one thing I know about how you must do your balancing act. First of all, this man does not sleep. He doesn't require sleep. Some people call him a vampire. But see, I think you're beyond that because the vampire has to sleep in the daytime. But, it's like 24/7. Okay, so how do you balance?
Well, Harry said it best as to how the schedule plays out being with the group. When I was with the group in the heyday, so he talks about 40 weeks. We used to work sometimes 50 weeks out of the year.
No time.
There was no time home. And so, I went through, a couple of marriages and that kind of thing. But talking about the balancing, I have a few kids out of wedlock. And
It's getting hot up in here.
so I didn't get a chance to spend very much time with them, but I have grandkids, and I get a chance to spend more time with my grandkids now, so that's a blessing.
So those
That's
things
right.
that you didn't get to do earlier,
Right.
you're grateful that
I
you
make up with
get
my
another
grandkids
chance.
now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And talk about balancing. We've gotten a chance to pick their brains a little bit, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, they're going to dazzle us with their sound. Right back after this.
The Deborah Show is brought to you in part by L.E. Black Phillips and Holden Funeral Home, located at 1951 McGuffey Road in Youngstown, Ohio. L.E. Black Phillips and Holden Funeral Home, honoring the legacy of life. Temptations Experience. Welcome back.
Now, if you know this song, clap along, sing along, do what you want to do. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. Sing it, Sil. Go ahead, brother. Baby, and when it's cold outside, I got the month of May. Well, I guess you say what can make me feel this way. My girl, I'm talking about my girl. My girl, I've got so much honey bees in me. Yes, they do. I've got a sweeter song than the birds. Oh, baby, hey, I guess you say what can make me feel this way. My girl, I'm talking about my girl.
Can turn the gray sky blue.
I can make it rain whenever I wanted to.
From a single grain of sand,
I can make a ship sail on dry land.
and I'm so blue.
Can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, babe. Can't get next to you.
Hey, hey, I can fly like a bird in the sky. I can buy anything that money can buy.
Oh, I'll turn a river into a raging fire. I can live forever if I so desire.
All these things I can do. I can't get next to you.
Can't get next to you,
No matter
babe.
what I do.
Can't get next to you. Ha!
Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Daddy.
Next to you.
Take a boom, take a boom. Take a boom, boom.
I can turn back the hand of time.
You better believe I can.
I can make the season change just by waving my hands. Oh, I
Can change anything from old to new.
the things I want to do the most, I'm unable to do.
Unhappy am I with all the powers I possess.
Cause God, you're the key to my happiness.
I know I